Nate, you know how you talk about OCD and how all the fears are just so unrealistic? Well, guess what? Mine is different. I don't think people talk like that. But you know why they're different? Because my fear could actually happen and it could be true and it's realistic and in everything else you're talking about, like, no. I often hear people say this, either through emails, chats, or in my own sessions. Mine is different. OCD is so good at tricking you into thinking that your fear, your possible theme, different than everyone else's. They're not saying, you don't hear anything online where they're talking about it exactly like what you're going through. The treatment just does not work for you. It's too risky. The other stuff's baby stuff. My thing is, my stuff's real. And I'm not saying this to invalidate what you're going through. I just want you to know you're special. Your theme is not special. In this video, we're going to go over how treatment works for fears that are actually realistic. Also for you to know when it is appropriate to worry about a realistic fear and when it's not. Let's start by looking at some realistic fears. So picture this. You're walking down the street, suddenly you get that nagging feeling that you forgot to lock the door. Everyone has this. But with OCD, maybe your mind starts racing. All the terrible things that could happen. If someone were to break in, that'd be horrible. Maybe you're about to give a presentation and your heart starts pounding. Your palms get sweaty. You're convinced that you're going to embarrass yourself in front of everyone. Now these fears might be totally legit at first, right? I mean, who wouldn't be worried about their safety or making a fool of themselves? But here's the kicker. With OCD, these fears can get blown way out of proportion. Suddenly, you're not just worried about someone breaking into your house. You're convinced that it's going to happen any minute now. And that presentation, well, it's not just nerves anymore. It's a full-blown catastrophe waiting to unfold. Maybe it's that one chemical you saw on that thing that you sprayed on your body, and now it's like causes cancer in 50 years, but no one can ever prove it. But it says laboratory rats. Now it's for sure I'm going to be the one that gets it. Some realistic fears here. Here's a popular one. If I don't wear sunscreen, there's a chance I'll get cancer in the future. Yes, well, this can be a legitimate fear. Individuals with OCD often live with this all or nothing mindset. Any second of the day, I must wear sunscreen or else. Is that realistic? No. I'm going to my mailbox. I'm going to be out in the sun for maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Do I need to apply sunscreen before I go out? Maybe that's debatable, depending on who you talk to. But it's not an all or nothing ordeal. We do things because we want to do things. That's just who we are. It's a preference. If it's anxiety, I gotta apply sunscreen and I gotta wait for 15 minutes before I go out for 30 seconds to go get my mail. Okay. It's taking something that could be realistic of a fear, but it's blowing it way out of proportion. Sometimes we risk things. Is it something you have to do? I don't know. I feel completely anxious and obsessed about the possibility of cancer, and that's on my brain all day long, and I'm thinking about it, I'm researching, and I'm asking for reassurance. This might not be an indication that it's just a realistic fear anymore. However, if someone prefers to wear sunscreen and they're gonna be out for 60 seconds, go for it, man. That is an indication of OCD taking something that is realistic and completely skewing it. With most things in life, there are risks. Everyone else is taking it. So if everyone jumped off a cliff, would you do it too? I know what you're thinking. No, sometimes we do have to go with the flow. I'm risking that by not checking my locks. Someone may break in. I might make a mistake. A catastrophe could happen. I could give in to the fear that I have. I don't know. But I'm gonna go do the things I wanna do. I gotta trust myself by saying I actually don't know. That's what trust really is. I'm going in faith that everything's gonna be okay. And if it's not, I'm gonna fix it. If someone breaks in, bummer. Really would stink. I hope they don't steal my passports and all this other stuff. But if they do, there's a problem to solve. Bummer, I missed it this time. But if I don't take that risk right now, I'm not saying go leave your doors unlocked, but if I don't take the risk that maybe I left it unlocked, that means I have to check it every single time, maybe multiple times. For how long? The rest of my life? Is that realistic? I don't think so. So you might be wondering, like, why even risk it in the first place? Well, because of the time and the effort of thinking about doing the compulsions. Like, it's eating up life. We want to live. Like I said, this is probably the third time. It's not an all or nothing thing. You're saying never wear sunscreen? Oh, so bad. No, that's not what I'm saying. You're saying keep your doors unlocked at all times? No, I'm saying make your best judgment. It's okay to question if it's unlocked, but sometimes we just go with the flow. I'm playing in the backyard and there's a huge rainstorm that's happening. There's no thunder. Yeah, I don't hear anything, but just in case there is, I'm gonna go inside. That might be one of those times I'm actually just risking. I'm just gonna keep playing. A lot of the time, this is what happens. You risk whatever the fear is and you realize nothing happened. It sends a signal back to your brain that says, it looks like you didn't need to warn me this time, so stop it. And your brain needs that signal time and time and time and time and time again, because that is how the rumination and overthinking slows down. But it could be this one time that I miss it. Yeah, that's the thing that we are risking here. But everyone else is risking that same chance. It's part of life. But fear not. We've got a secret weapon. It's called exposure and response prevention. Think of it like training for a marathon. At first, the idea of running 26.2 miles, is that what it is? Might seem impossible, but with the right training and mindset, like, people conquer it. They do it. They usually don't just wake up that morning like, all right, I haven't ran ever in my entire life, but I'm gonna go run a marathon. I'm sure people have done that, but might not be the smartest. So how does ERP work? It's all about facing your fears in a controlled, gradual way, so we can get back to living life. Let go of all the compulsions. I'm not gonna go keep checking that door. Instead, I'm gonna go live life. We're gonna do the opposite. So for example, my door automatically locks after about 30 seconds. I might leave the house, open the garage, leave. I am hoping that my door locks. I'm gonna deliberately not check. Hope it works. Because that is what I'm choosing to do. Feel uncertain. I don't know, maybe one of these times it gets jammed and doesn't actually lock. But if that happens, maybe someone will break in, maybe not. But if they do, I'll be like, bummer, I picked the wrong lock. I know it's not that simple, but what if I came back and it's unlocked and nothing happened? I've also just proven that maybe the catastrophes don't always happen just because we think about it. So sitting with the discomfort, it's like telling your brain, hey, I see you, but I'm not letting you call the shots anymore. The response part is pretty important. What can we say to ourselves in those moments? Either keeping things uncertain or completely agreeing with the threat. Sure, someone may or may not break into my house. Oh yeah, man, I sure hope someone breaks into my house today. I hope they find all these great stuff that I have. You might be saying this over, over, and over, and over, and over. What I'm not doing is saying, okay, no one's gonna break in today. Don't worry about it. You've left your door unlocked before. Don't worry, it's okay. You don't have any valuables anyway. Because this ends up just causing more doubt and questioning. I know I'm using the example of somebody, keeping their door unlocked, but you think of your specific OCD theme, it's going to feel realistic in some manner for most people. It's gonna feel like it actually could happen. And yeah, we don't know. We don't have the time machine to see if it's going to happen or not, but it's the same concept. We gotta take the risk and we find out, didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen. No one broke in. I hung out with my child and nothing happened. And it's not because I protected, it's because nothing happened. I faced this fear and the catastrophe wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Actually, there was no catastrophe. If you wanna learn more about exposure therapy, my Master Your OCD course teaches this step by step. Worksheets, videos, all that. I'll link that down in the description. Sometimes I think of OCD treatment like deflating a balloon. The more you poke at it, the less air it eventually has. It's just a sad, wrinkly piece of rubber. By facing our fears with ERP, we're taking away their power. One poke at a time. You think about that. I'm poking this thing. Face your fears. Embrace the discomfort. Watch them shrink into nothing. It's a distant memory because it's a skill. I'm leaving the house. It's a skill. I'm doing it again and again and again and again and again. Eventually my brain stops warning me because it doesn't need to. Let me know if you have any fears down in the comments. What do yours feel like that are so realistic? And you've probably got more videos to watch. I know you're looking at it. You've got time. Maybe you don't, but you might have to. Take a look here. At least subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.